I guess I'm proud of it because more people should be, is that I use walkthroughs when I'm doing games. I'm struggling, I'm unashamed of going to the internet and going, how the hell do I do this? I don't want to struggle through something repeatedly when I could very easily go and check it out. Obviously, play games as much as you can figure out by yourself, but if you're stuck to the point of frustration and you're going through something hours and hours and hours at a time, there is nothing wrong with having a little peek at the walkthrough. And that's my confession, that I do use them. And when I'm doing collectibles, in games, and I've gone through it, I've swept and combed and peeked at every nook and cranny I can possibly look at, spent hours and hours in the world trying to find them all. If I have got to the point of, I'm going to put this game away now and not play it again, then I will look at the walkthrough to find the last of the collectibles as well. Just like finish them off to scoop them up so I've got everything in the game, seen everything it has to offer me. Which I guess maybe not proud of is the right term, but like again, I just think it's fine. And it's a confession because I feel like some people are like, you should never use a walkthrough in your life and figure out everything yourself. And yes, you should aim for that always, but don't beat yourself up if you need a little bit of help. That is what game channels, game talking, games as a social experience is for. So you know what? Look at the walkthrough every now and then, not all the time, don't use it as a crutch, but have a little peek at the walkthrough and think to yourself, hey, that's okay.
I tell you what, the playing through Sakura, that game is just such a big old dick, just such a massive, just wants to pummel you into the ground and laugh at you and give you the middle fingers and go, oh, you think you're all that, you think you can play games, do you? Well, how about we just on your chest? And after like 30 hours of that, and I love Sakura, to be honest, I'm saying all that, fully aware of that, the experience that I'm going in for, you know, it's the Rocky getting up the stairs, but they keep pushing you back down the stairs every sort of half an hour. I eventually got through it and I felt a sense of achievement unlike anything else, and it was amazing. And only after that did I realize that I'd missed one boss. There's an optional one called the Demon of Hatred, and you can go a different way down one of the final paths. You don't have to go to the final boss, Ishin the Swordsaint. You can go a different way and find this big old soul-style boss called the Demon of Hatred. And at that point, like I said, I'd finished the game. I hated that final boss, the Ishin one. So by the time I'd seen credits on that game, I was like, I'm done. I've done it. I've proven to myself that I can do it. I'm past the year 27 mark when your brain starts to deteriorate, and I've still managed to beat Sakura. I don't need to do anything else. And so when I found out that Demon of Hatred was there, I just used an exploit to beat him, and I don't care at all because that game is such a piece of shit, and I don't need to prove myself anymore. After I've beaten it, Ben Roy's clapping in the distance. Because yeah, with that thing, they've patched it out now because a lot of people started doing this exploit. But if you fight the Demon of Hatred and you get him to charge at you when you're behind a certain tree, he'll get stuck, and his stupid form will just get stuck running into the tree, which is fun to look at in the first place. But then you can find out a way to climb up and kind of get out of the game's geometry, sort of break the nav mesh a little bit, and go around this building so that you're behind him, and then at that point he frees up from his tree and he tries to run at you and he just runs off a cliff and kills himself. The stupid piece of shit. And it's one of the best things ever, and I just get to just laugh at him as he goes, oh, and he falls all the way down to his defeat, and it says, you defeated, or whatever the hell it says, and then that was it. And I just laughed. I laughed a hearty laugh because f*** you, Sakura. I beat everything else, and I don't need your extra bullshit post-credits crap.
Well, I'm really proud of this because I recently just platinumed The Last of Us, yes, in that 0.4% of people, because I just spent all the time playing it. But so back in the day, played The Last of Us on PS3, was done with it. Then got the remaster, played it again on hard, got some of the hard trophies. I thought, you know what, 5-6 years later, I'm gonna go back and do this. I'm gonna get platinum, my favorite game of all time. But it requires a hell of a lot of playthroughs because you got to do it on like the normal difficulties. But if you do it on say like hard, you can't just go then to survival plus or grounded plus. You've got to go to hard plus. So you kind of like, you have to get them all. And I had a little bit of look on the internet because it was like going through like old forums. It's like going through like old texts in like ancient temples, like trying to find out how this trophy's glitched. You need to make sure you don't do that. Where's this? Where's that? And I found out that because I did an easy run to get the collectibles, I found that if you do the easy run, then you go to do an easy plus run, you can then, after you do that initial first bit, one of the most heart-wrenching moments in gaming, you get to the 20 years later segment, go back out, go back to continue, switch the thing to grounded plus, and you don't have to play it 100 times, because I've already played it a few times. So I did that. Cheated it. I went through that and I subverted it. I still had to do a grounded run. It was still hard as hell, especially the bit when you're Ellie and you have to fight big man bloater with David. But apart from that, it's fine. It's fine. It's good. I've got the trophy now.
Have you really earned it if you cheated your way to it though?
I played it on hard, I played it on grounded. I didn't do survival, but you know what? Who needs survival when you did survival and Left Behind?
You?
No. Also, there's a lot of combat sections in that game which you can just like throw a brick at the wall there, AI go, and you just run. You just run.
Now, I'm not necessarily proud of this. It's more that I don't care. Really.
It's the same thing, Rich.
It's not though, is it? It's channeling my inner Scott. Is it though? It's not though, is it?
Is it?
Wow. But for me, in terms of a confession, I haven't played a Grand Theft Auto game that isn't 5. Genuinely, the only GTA game I have played is 5 for at least any significant period of time. I have literally never touched 4, never touched 3, never touched Vice City, and I think I played a teeny weeny bit of San Andreas on a friend's PS2 back in the day, and as far as I can remember, could you play as a grandma in San Andreas? Was it 3? You could like
multiplayer. If you played 2-player, you could then be like a hobo. Or
I think it might have been that. It must have been, because I think I remember playing as like a grandma who could like bat people with her handbag and take people's heads off. And I thought that was the funniest thing I'd ever seen in my life. Because bear in mind, up to this point, all I was playing were movie tie-in games on the PS1, playing Monsters Inc. Scare Island and Italian Job and Harry Potter. That was all I played. What?
Scare Island is rubbish, and I got that for the PS2.
Cough, Ben Roy. Cough.
Scare Island's terrible.
Anyway, but yeah, I remember playing a teeny bit of this multiplayer thing and running around as a grandma and having a rocket launcher and just blowing someone the up and like, cool, this is what Grand Theft Auto is. And then genuinely the first game I properly played in the GTA series was 5, and I've just not played any of the others. And yeah, don't really care.
You're not going to go back to the Rich?
No.
Why?
I don't.
They're all like a couple of quid on the PS4.
I know they are. I said to Osley earlier, like the GTA, it's like the trilogy. You can get 3 San Andreas and Vice City on PS4. I might go back to them, maybe.
Vice City's so good.
I might say almost the best.
Okay. Osley.
Hi.
Which video game confession are you proud of?
I don't like cutscenes.
Don't like cutscenes.
Don't like cutscenes. The reason is I am a mechanical gamer, which means I like to play games, essentially. I don't really like to watch them, is what I'm trying to say. And when you've got a cutscene, I'll just take this off, just for the sound. When you've got cutscenes in a game, for me, it kind of like, not necessarily just destroys the pace, but I just want to go and I just want to like shoot stuff and I want to just play the game essentially. And I love speedrunning quite a lot, and I've got that mentality of like, I need to do this fast, I need to do this quick. But mechanics in a game is literally the biggest priority for me in any video game ever. Like I don't care how the graphics look, I don't care if the story's like crap or anything like that. If the mechanics are good, then that means I can play it literally for hours on end. Doesn't matter how old it is. It will always be a great game for me. Like something like Turok is a really good game because of the mechanics. Like I know the graphics aren't that great today, but it's still a good game. And when you've got cutscenes in the game that don't let you skip it, it just becomes like a kind of boring, like not necessarily a waste of time, but I just get really bored of it. I just want to go. I just want to play it. Just let me play it, and that's kind of why I don't like cutscenes.
Well, Richard, I want to take you back to 2009. 11 years ago, Arkham Asylum came out, and it was one of the games I was looking forward to the most. I traded in my sister's PSP so I could play Arkham Asylum. I'm so sorry, Katie, but you sort of deserved it at the time. And I got Arkham Asylum, loved it obviously, but you know, you can finish that in a couple of days. The campaign isn't very long, but they had additional challenge modes that you could master, and it had like ranked leaderboards. So essentially you had sneaking missions where you had to take out all the guards and do a couple of sub-objectives within those, and the faster you did it, the higher you got in the ranking. Well, I wanted to put the time in and try to figure out the best way to, you know, do these levels so I could get up and break that top 50. That was my hope, hopefully get in the top 50. And anyway, I tried again. I wasn't really getting that close. I got into, you know, the top 100, the top 150, but I could never crack more than that. And because it was, you know, new at the time, I was like, if I'm ever gonna get in the top of 1% or whatever, it's going to be now, otherwise everyone's just gonna pile in and take over it. So I went to YouTube and looked up a walkthrough of how to do it the quickest way. And I copied that until I got it down exactly. And then I think I ended up being, I might have been in the top 10 at one point, but I was definitely at least 15th in the world for one challenge map on Arkham Asylum. And I did it entirely through mimicking someone else's style. And I'm okay with that. I've come to terms with that. Like, it might not have been my idea, but I still did it well. It still takes some skill to copy something very well. So yeah, I might not totally justify my place in that leaderboard. I'm probably not there now, but at the time, I didn't mind. And then I told everyone in school that I was in the top 20 on Arkham Asylum. I used to have it in my bio for the Xbox gamer profile. And my mates to this day still rip the piss out of me about it. I think I might mention that part on one of these before, but yeah, that's the video game confession that I am proud to have done.
It's still there.
I think it might be. I don't know if I've changed it. We've got on the Xbox 360, Osley, it might actually still be there.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. Now, if you want more chatty faces, why not watch through the rest of our playlist? But I just want to say a big thank you to the brilliant channel sponsors for voting on this week's chatty question. And if you want to join the vote, then why not consider hitting the join button and becoming a sponsor today? And we will see you next week. Bye!